Yo, what's going on, guys? Today, we're going to be ranking every single card in Clash Royale. As we get into this tier list, make sure to comment down below what evolution rankings of mine you agree and disagree with, and also make sure to subscribe if you enjoyed the video. So to start it off with, we have the Evolved Barbarians. They used to be so broken back in the day when they could one-shot goblins and stuff, but they completely fell off. Not even Lava Hound uses them anymore, so I think for the Evo Barbs, we have to put them in the F tier, actually. Could put them C tier, but I feel like they're a little bit closer to the F tier. They're not completely unusable, but I definitely wouldn't prefer them over most of the other evolutions in the game. Next up, we have the Evolved Mega Knight. Evo Mega Knight is a pretty interesting one. It's actually a very strong evolution, but Pekka being everywhere kind of makes it hard to play. But yeah, when you play Mega Knight, it always feels so darn good, so I think I'll probably actually put it low A tier. Even Pekka can be beatable when you have the Evo Mega Knight just throwing the Pekka back constantly towards the tower. It's a really broken evolution in a lot of matchups. Also defensively, it's so good. Next up, we have the Evo Cannon. I think a lot of people thought this would be a very broken evolution. Even I thought it would be a little bit on the strong side, but it's actually quite the opposite. It's a little bit on the weak side. It's definitely not unusable, though. I've seen some really cool interactions with it. It can definitely kill swarm stuff really well, too, sometimes. But it's hard to always get your, I don't know what you call it, like the ability of the Evo Cannon to land on the correct stuff. So for Evo Cannon, I'm honestly probably going to have to go high C tier. It's usable in some decks. It's kind of good in decks that don't really have many other evolutions to use instead, like E-Giant or something like that. I wouldn't really use it in much else, though, to be honest. Next up, Evo Pekka. Man, Evo Pekka used to be so broken. It got quite a big nerf to its healing, but now it's still really popular. The thing is, I don't really think it's about the Evo Pekka anymore. I think now it's probably more so just about the Pekka itself being really strong, more so than the Evo Pekka, but I don't know. Evo Pekka's Evo Pekka. I think I still probably have to go for it in kind of the high A tier. It's a little bit up for grabs. It's kind of hard to tell whether the Evo Pekka is what's carrying it or the normal Pekka, but whenever people play Pekka, they pretty much always throw the Evo on there, so it must be telling something about how good Evo Pekka is. Next up, Evo Musketeer. This Evo was fairly bad when it first got released. I thought it would be kind of unviable, but it got a couple buffs since then, so I feel like it's quite a nice Evo, quite a balanced Evo, really probably what all Evos should be. I feel like it's just in the perfect spot, so I'd probably say mid-B tier. It's very good in a few things like Balloon. Maybe it could even be viable in 2.6, things like that. And yeah, I think it's a very solid evolution. Really just perfect. Now, Evo Snowball, we actually don't have access to in the game, but I have tested it quite a bit on the dev build. It's kind of crazy what it can do sometimes if you play an Evo Snowball onto a Lava Loon push. A lot of the time it can make the balloon go in front of the Lava Hound for some reason. But there are some weaknesses to it. You can accidentally activate your opponent's King Tower if they play a Musketeer in front of it, or even close to it, and you try to snowball it away. So I don't know. I feel like it's gonna be really broken against some decks, but really bad against other decks. And for that, I don't know. I feel like I might go high B tier for it. It could potentially be a little bit worse, maybe. I don't know if it'll be much better. But yeah, it could be good in some decks, but I don't know if it's gonna be super popular or anything like that. Now, Evo Goblin Barrel, man. Evo Goblin Barrel is so underrated, man. Bait players always try to get me in the comment section when I say Barrel is kind of broken right now, but nah, I'm not holding back any longer. I'm putting this straight in the A tier. Bait is absolutely everywhere, and the reason why is Evo Barrel. Just so hard to stop when you don't know which barrel's the fake one, which one is the real one, so I think they should actually probably either nerf it in some way, directly, like the damage, health, or something like that. Probably just the damage of the fake barrel, or they could just make you have some way to tell which barrel's the fake one consistently. Now, Evo Tesla fell off so hard, man. It used to be the most broken evolution ever, but ever since they took away the Death Shockwave, I don't know why, but it completely fell off. I think they should have given it maybe its old damage back before when it only had one Shockwave, because it was kind of solid back then. So Evo Tesla, man, it's really quite bad. I almost want to go for it at the top of C tier. Some people might argue that it could be low B tier, but man, Tesla itself is kind of trash right now, so nobody really uses the Evo Tesla. I don't think it's the worst Evo of all time, but I would not use it over most Evos in the game right now. Evo Skeletons, man, they are so good right now. They're so good in Piggies. They're so good in really any cycle deck you can think of, like Minor Wallbreakers, Magic Archer, Logbait. Majority of cycle decks, even Hoggy Q, for example. Evo Skellies, I almost want to put above Pekka, but I don't know if it can go that high. I think maybe not that high. I think I'll put it kind of where the barrel is. I don't even know, is barrel more of an issue or Evo Skeletons? I low-key might say barrel's more of an issue than Evo Skeletons. Because at least Evo Skeletons are counterable, but Evo Barrel sometimes just doesn't feel counterable. Evo Goblin Giant is a quite strong evolution right now. It goes quite well with Pekka. But it's not like anything too crazy. I could go low A tier, but since Goblin Giant is not super popular anymore, I mean, people still use it, but it's not crazy popular. So I feel like B tier is kind of good for. I'm just thinking where in the B tier would be perfect. I'd say the top of the B tier for now. It might go down a few spots later once we get more cards in the B tier, though. Now, Evo Knight, man, it just fell off so hard. I feel like it just doesn't really suit this meta too well. You have Evo Skeletons to counter it, Evo Pekkas all the time. A lot of the other stuff make it so Evo Knight is not really too necessary these days, but I don't know, it feels like a solid Evo, so I can't really put it too low. But yeah, I don't even know if it's A tier worthy anymore. I feel like I might have to put it B tier. I'll put it towards the top of the B tier. Like, realistically, I don't see Evo Knight very much at all these days on top ladder. Everyone's running Goblin Stein instead of a Knight, or I don't know. Yeah, people just don't really use it too much. So I feel like roughly here is fine. Evo Ice Spirit, guys, you will not believe it. Remember Evo Ice Spirit, the very worst evolution in the game. They didn't really change much to it at all, but the whole meta changed, and now Evo Ice Spirit, I think I have to put in the S tier. I genuinely think it needs a nerf, guys. It's that broken. It just counters whole pushes. It's so insanely toxic, and you get to it so quickly. Me and a lot of other pro players have been saying that Evo Ice Spirit probably deserves a nerf, so I genuinely think it might be the best Evo in the game, but we're going to see. We have some other contenders coming up kind of soon here. Evo Bomber, man. Bomber has such a high usage rate, and a lot of the time it's with the Evo Bomber, so yeah, it's really broken. I don't know where I'd put it. It's kind of up for grabs here where I would put it in the A tier. But, man, I don't know. I just swear, Bomber is so freaking broken sometimes. I think I'm just going to put it at the top of the A tier, genuinely. Because Bomber is actually that broken, guys. Bomber is so underrated. People don't realize how broken it is. Everyone knows Evo Pekka is broken. Nobody knows Evo Bomber is broken, though. Now, Evo Bats, they're used in Mortar. Maybe a couple things like Mega Knight, which is kind of off meta. Really not too much else. So, Evo Bats, I mean, they're kind of just a mid-evolution at this point. I almost want to put them C tier, but I feel like they're a little bit better than that. Let me see where it would be nice to put them. I don't know, I'd say somewhere in the B tier. They're a decent evolution, not super popular, but I think they're quite well balanced, if you ask me. Evo Royal Giant. People always say how good Evo RG is. I don't think it's actually that amazing. I don't think it helps RG a crazy amount. It definitely does help, but I don't think you have to have Evo RG for RG to be a good card. So Evo RG could probably just get somewhere here in the B tier as well. Yeah, I can't really put it in the C tier. It's definitely better than some of those other evolutions down there. Where would I put it? I mean, I guess maybe around the B tier. Man, I remember Evo RG used to be so much more broken when it had like 10% more HP and everything like that. I think here's pretty fair for the RG. It could be give or take a few spots either way. But yeah, I think this is pretty fair. Evo E-Drag is actually very, very broken in 2v2, but in 1v1, it's just not used too much. I mean, you know, Pekka decks and stuff like that, they have lightning half the time. And against Cycle decks, it really just doesn't do much at all. But it's definitely a decent evolution. I see Pekka Balloon players running it. Not many other players actually use it besides Pekka Balloon, honestly. I'm not sure. I feel like it has to go a little bit above C tier. But where would I actually put it? I don't know, somewhere here in the B tier. It could potentially even go a few spots lower in the B tier, but I think this is a pretty good spot for it. Now, Evo Goblin Drill. I don't know, I haven't been seeing much Goblin Drill at all. There's a couple people running Goblin Stein Evo Drill, but it got quite a big rework, which definitely did hurt the card quite a bit, losing its spawn damage for a couple of the waves. So Evo Drill... Another B tier card, I regret to say. At least I think it has to be a B tier card. B tier evolution, that is. Evo Drill, I mean, you know, we can just kind of throw it somewhere here in the B tier, right below the Electro Dragon. Evo Mortar did get quite a big nerf, so it's kind of tough to say where it should be right now. Evo Mortar used to be really broken, but yeah, it fell off quite big time with the nerf that it got. It makes it take so long just to get that one first shot off. But honestly, I feel like I might have to go for the B tier again. I mean, I know people will comment how, like, a lot of my cards are in the B tier, a lot of my evolutions are in the B tier, but that's really where a card should be. Yeah, every evolution should be B tier, ideally, so that's probably why there's a lot in the B tier right now. As far as where I would put it, maybe towards the bottom of the B tier. I don't know, I really don't feel like it's that amazing, but it's definitely not bad. I mean, I don't know, maybe I'll switch a couple of these things up. I'll put Musketeer above these two as well. No, maybe not above Mortar. Yeah, I'll put it like this. Evo Valkyrie is quite good with Lava Hound. Definitely some bait players use it as well. I think it's a very solid evolution. I'm kind of tempted to put it in the A tier. I think I will just for the heck of it. It could technically go at the top of the B tier or something, but I don't want to put every single evolution in the B tier, so I think for this we can actually throw it in the A tier. Maybe below the Mega Knight. It's a very solid evolution. It's not used a crazy amount, but it feels really strong in the decks that it's used in. Evo Cage got a decent buff, actually, and yeah, it's definitely a very good evolution. Cage itself is not used too much, though, so the Evo Cage doesn't get a crazy amount of play. Evo Cage kind of just feels like another B tier evolution, if you ask me. I'll probably put it, I don't know, maybe right in the middle of the B tier. Another pretty balanced evolution. Evo Battle Ram, I did see had quite a high usage rate in the top 200 on Royale API. It was always Ram Rider before, but now there's some Goblinstein bridge spam decks with the Evo Battle Ram, and it actually does do quite a good job. It's not really the Evo Battle Ram that carries the decks, though. But yeah, another B tier, guys, another B tier. Where would I put it in the B tier, though? I'm trying to kind of rank these exactly in the right order, or at least close to it. So where in the B tier, I would say probably the top of the B tier, actually. It's genuinely really strong right now. I don't know. I've been seeing a lot of people have great success with it. Man, Evo Wizard, the biggest fall-off of the century. I don't know. I just genuinely never, ever see it right now. See, if it was actually about strength of the Evo exactly, I'd probably put it A tier, maybe even B tier, but everyone plays Goblinstein, nobody plays Wizard anymore. It just doesn't fit well in the Goblinstein meta. So for this specific meta, I genuinely might put it in this top of the C tier. I think I will, because, I mean, literally nothing runs it. I know the actual power of it is stronger than this, but due to the meta, it's actually kind of just in a terrible place right now, surprisingly. But I don't think they need to buff it or anything. Evo Firecracker. I mean, people always say that Evo Firecracker is broken, but I think ever since they made it start to die to arrows, it's really not the most amazing evolution ever. Even in Hoggy Q, sometimes I prefer to have Evo Skeletons, Evo Ice Spirit over Evo Firecracker. Not always, but sometimes I feel like it can be better. So for this, I don't know. I mean, some people might say B tier. I might even say C tier, though, personally, because, I mean, when you have Firecracker, you sometimes use it, but not many people even play Firecracker, and Evo Firecracker doesn't seem to help more people actually play it. I mean, man, okay, I just feel so bad putting all these cards in the B tier, but maybe I will. Maybe I'll put Firecracker at the bottom of it. I'd even put it C tier, though, but I don't know. I mean, it's not the worst ever. Definitely not the best, though. Evo Wallbreakers, I mean, Wallbreakers have started to see a little bit more play recently, ever since they stopped facing a lot of Cannoneer decks, because a lot of Cannoneer decks just stopped being played, and now one connects against Cannoneer as well. So, yeah, Evo Wallbreakers can be played now, since normal Wallbreakers are actually played a little bit in bait decks and stuff like that, but not too many people actually play them. So for Wallbreakers, I mean, I don't know, somewhere towards the bottom of the B tier is fine for them as well. Evo Zap is very solid. I saw it had a really high use rate on Royale API. It's a really solid evolution. Used in quite a bit, for sure. I don't know if I put it super high up in the A tier, though, because, I mean, is it really used in all the most broken meta decks? I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of competition with the Rage now as well, so there's some other stuff to use instead of Evo Zap these days. I think I'll have to put it above the, well, I don't know, probably above the Valkyrie, or, yeah, maybe above the Mega Knight in the A tier. It's a very solid evolution ever since that change they did to it. Evo Archers always feel so pesky whenever I face them in Expo and stuff like that. You know, the B tier is practically its own tier list at this point, guys. Oh, man. Okay, where would I put this? Where would I put Evo Archers? Yeah, they're always so pesky when they split them in the back when they're playing Expo. Even Balloon sometimes plays them, but Balloon is not too popular. So, Evo Archers, I mean, let me think about this one. I think I'll put them here in the B tier, kind of the lower B tier, but they're actually a pretty decent evolution. And finally, guys, we have the Evolved Royal Recruits. Recruits are really not too popular these days. They're definitely a decent evolution, though. The evolution is great. The recruits themselves are actually very bad, though. But the evolution kind of makes up for it and allows them to be played quite a decent amount. So for recruits, I mean, let me think about this. I would say above the Electro Dragon in the B tier is probably fine. So guys, here we have our entire evolution tier list. We have a lot of cards in the B tier, so it just shows that a lot of the evolutions are kind of balanced right now, but we definitely have quite a few that are power creeping a lot of the others. Alright, thank you all so much for watching, and see you in the next one. Bye!